Hello and welcome back to the podcast. Today we're going to talk about something many of us do every day, often without thinking too much about it. Scrolling. You wake up, you check your phone. You sit down to relax, you scroll. Maybe you even scroll before going to sleep. It feels normal, easy, and sometimes even fun. But have you ever stopped and asked yourself, what is actually happening in my brain while I do this? In this episode, we'll explore how endless scrolling affects your brain, your attention, your mood, and even your memory. Don't worry, I'm not here to say that scrolling is bad and you should never do it again. Instead, I want to help you understand what's going on so you can make better choices. Let's start with something simple. Why is scrolling so hard to stop? When you scroll on social media or apps, your brain is looking for something new. Every swipe brings a new image, a new video, a new piece of information. This is important because the human brain loves novelty. That means we enjoy new and surprising things. Long ago, this helped us survive. We needed to notice changes in our environment. Today, however, this same system is used by apps. Each time you scroll, you might see something funny, interesting, or emotional. Your brain releases a small amount of a chemical called dopamine. Dopamine is often called the feel-good chemical, but it's more accurate to say it is linked to motivation and reward. Here's the key point: you don't get dopamine every time. Sometimes you see something boring. Sometimes you see something exciting. This pattern is called a variable reward system. It's the same system used in games and even gambling. Because the reward is not predictable, your brain keeps wanting more. You keep scrolling, hoping the next post will be better. That's why you tell yourself, just one more video, and suddenly 30 minutes have passed. Now let's talk about attention. When you scroll quickly from one thing to another, your brain doesn't have time to focus deeply. You read a sentence, watch a few seconds of a video, then move on. Over time, this trains your brain to prefer short, fast information. This can make it harder to concentrate on longer tasks, like reading a book, studying, or even having a deep conversation. Your brain becomes used to constant stimulation. When things slow down, they feel boring. Think about the last time you tried to focus on something important. Did you feel the need to check your phone? That feeling is not just a habit. It's your brain asking for quick rewards again. Another effect of constant scrolling is mental overload. Every day, you see hundreds or even thousands of pieces of information. News, opinions, jokes, videos, ads, messages. Your brain tries to process all of this, but it can only do so much. When there is too much information, your brain becomes tired. This can lead to something called decision fatigue. That means it becomes harder to make choices, even simple ones. You might feel overwhelmed, distracted, or mentally exhausted, even if you didn't do anything physically difficult. Let's move on to memory. You might think that because you see so much information, you are learning a lot. But actually, the opposite can happen. When you scroll quickly, your brain does not always store information in long-term memory. For memory to work well, your brain needs time to process and connect information. But when you keep moving from one thing to another, there is no time for this deeper processing. That's why you might watch many videos in one session, but later you can't remember most of them. It's not because your memory is bad. It's because your brain never had the chance to truly learn the information. Now let's talk about mood. Scrolling can affect how you feel in different ways. Sometimes, it can make you feel happy or relaxed. You watch something funny, and you laugh. That's great. But there is another side. When you spend a lot of time on social media, you often see the best moments of other people's lives. Vacations, achievements, perfect photos. Even if you know these are only highlights, your brain still compares. You might start to feel like your life is not as exciting or successful. This can lead to feelings of sadness, stress, or low self-esteem. Also, negative content can have a strong effect. News about problems, conflicts, or bad events can increase anxiety. Because negative information often gets more attention, it appears more often in your feed. So your brain can slowly become more focused on negative emotions, even if you didn't plan it. Another important topic is time perception. Have you ever noticed that time feels different when you scroll? You think you've been on your phone for 10 minutes, but actually it's been an hour. This happens because scrolling creates a continuous flow of information. There are no clear breaks. Your brain doesn't register time in the usual way. Without clear start and end points, it's easy to lose track. This can affect your daily routine. You might go to bed later than planned, delay tasks, or feel like you never have enough time. Now, let's talk about sleep. Many people scroll before going to bed. It feels like a way to relax. But it can actually make sleep worse. First, the light from your phone can reduce the production of melatonin, a hormone that helps you sleep. Second, the content you see can keep your brain active. If you watch something exciting or emotional, your mind stays awake longer. Also, because scrolling is endless, there is no natural stopping point. Unlike watching a movie that ends, your feed keeps going. As a result, you may sleep less or have lower quality sleep. And when you don't sleep well, your brain doesn't function as well the next day. Your attention, mood, and memory all suffer. At this point, you might be thinking, okay, this sounds serious. Should I stop scrolling completely? The answer is no. Scrolling is not the enemy. The key is balance and awareness. Let's look at some simple ways to use your phone in a healthier way. First, create small limits. You don't need to make big changes immediately. You can start with something simple, like not using your phone during meals or setting a time limit for certain apps. Even a small change can help your brain rest and reset. Second, notice your habits. Pay attention to when and why you scroll. Are you bored? Stressed? Avoiding something? When you understand the reason, you can choose a different action. For example, if you scroll because you feel tired, maybe you actually need a short break, a walk, or some water. Third, make space for deep focus. Try to spend some time each day doing something without interruptions. It could be reading, writing, studying, or even listening carefully to someone. This helps train your brain to focus again. At first, it might feel difficult, but with practice, it becomes easier. Fourth, choose your content. Not all scrolling is the same. Some content can be educational, inspiring, or relaxing. Other content can be stressful or meaningless. You can control what you follow and what you watch. Over time, this shapes your experience and your mental state. Finally, give your brain real rest. Scrolling is not true rest for your brain. It's still active, processing new information. Real rest can be quiet time, sleep, or simple activities like walking or sitting without stimulation. Your brain needs this kind of rest to stay healthy. Let's take a moment to summarize. When you scroll all day, your brain is constantly searching for new rewards. This can make it hard to stop. It can reduce your attention span, overload your mind with information, and make it harder to remember things. It can also affect your mood through comparison and negative content, change how you experience time, and even reduce the quality of your sleep. But the goal is not to remove scrolling from your life. It's to understand it and use it more consciously. Technology is a powerful tool. It can connect us, teach us, and entertain us. But like any tool, how you use it matters. So next time you pick up your phone and start scrolling, just pause for a second. Ask yourself, why am I doing this right now? What do I need? Sometimes, scrolling is exactly what you want. And that's okay. But other times, your brain might need something different. Thank you for listening today. If you found this episode helpful, feel free to share it with someone who might also be interested. And maybe, after this episode, take a small break from your screen and give your brain a moment of quiet. See you in the next episode.